Because P. Diddy be wanting the body. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did.
Because this has been going on in the industry for a whole bunch of years, for decades.
When his boss name is Clive Davis. Clive run him. Diddy don't run himself.
All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is.
The industry, a place where fame and fortune come at a high cost. Over the years, the truth about what's really happening behind closed doors has been whispered. Those whispers are now becoming louder as more disturbing allegations surface, especially surrounding one man, Sean Diddy Combs.
They sacrificing Diddy. They said, nigga, you gotta take this shit because we can't be involved. But Diddy smart. He filmed every fucking session. So he was fucking Clive and the motherfucking freak boy that run Universal Music.
But what if I told you that this isn't new? Let's dive deep into a history that connects Diddy's actions to some of the most powerful names in the music business, Clive Davis, Russell Simmons, and others. How does this tie back to legends like Michael Jackson and Prince? And most importantly, were they silenced for trying to expose it all?
That said, the companies felt otherwise. Of course, they wouldn't change because if they changed, they wouldn't really exist. And that's kind of the situation we're in right today.
Stay tuned because Katt Williams has been dropping clues for years and now everything is starting to make sense. Diddy is facing serious charges, T-fficking, and hosting those infamous freak-offs. But is this really shocking for those who've been paying attention? Not for Katt Williams. The comedian has been exposing Diddy's dark secrets for years, shedding light on these underground gatherings that were more sinister than glamorous.
P. Diddy be wanting the body. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did.
But Diddy isn't the only one who's been a part of this twisted game. This behavior, involving manipulation and abuse of power, isn't just Diddy's doing. It's part of a larger system that has been going on for decades. To understand this, we need to rewind and look at the usual suspects. Suge Knight recently broke his silence, calling out key industry players, including Jimmy Iovine, Clive Davis, Russell Simmons, and Andre Harrell. According to Suge, this is not just about Diddy. It's about a whole network of powerful figures who have been pulling the strings for decades. It's been going on for a long time, Suge said. If we don't fix it, history will repeat itself. He named names: Jimmy Iovine, Clive Davis, Russell Simmons, and Andre Harrell, claiming that they've created a toxic environment where young artists are and exploited.
You look at Russell Simmons, you know the truth. Andre Harrell, you know the truth. Clive Davis, you know the truth. Jimmy Iovine, you know the truth.
Suge didn't hold back, even implicating high-ranking executives who have long hidden behind their powerful positions. The casting couch is real, Suge said, emphasizing that it's not just for women but for men as well. According to him, this power dynamic has allowed these figures to control artists' careers by compromising them through drugs, alcohol, and exploitation. What's even more shocking is Suge's claim that Diddy too was once a victim of this system, suggesting that what was done to Diddy by these men, he later did to others. Suge described it as a vicious cycle where hurt people hurt people.
Is that what you're suggesting about Sean Combs, that he was and he now?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right.
But Suge Knight wasn't just here to air out grievances. He warned that this is only the beginning. Let Puffy tell his truth, Suge urged, implying that Diddy might have more to reveal, potentially exposing some of the biggest names in the industry. I'm sure he's going to expose a lot of people, he added. This begs the question, how much did legends like Michael Jackson or Prince know about this? Were they aware of the industry's darker secrets? And did they try to expose it before their deaths? Suge's words certainly make you wonder if their untimely passings were just a tragic coincidence or part of something more sinister. As Suge said, they do these things to take control. The power, the drugs, and the exploitation are all tools in a much larger system. But what's even more chilling is the warning Suge left hanging in the air, that Diddy might not survive long enough to tell his full story. Too. I don't think it should be a situation where they find him hanging from the ceiling before the truth comes out, Suge ominously stated, hinting at the dangers Diddy now faces. Prince was always vocal about the dangers of the industry. He famously revealed that record contracts were just like slavery. But what if Prince and Michael Jackson knew more than just the financial traps? What if they were aware of the deeper, more dangerous undercurrents? Things like T-fficking, manipulation, and control? Katt and Prince were on the same page about a lot of things: musical talent, women, and cool cars. Katt even shared how they supported each other, especially with the tough business side of things. So when Katt hinted that he knew the reason behind Prince's death and how Clive Davis might have been involved, it wasn't just speculation. It came from someone who was close to Prince and shared many moments with him. In a 2022 interview with Arsenio Hall, Katt revealed that he was inspired by Prince and even spent 5 years as a rapper before moving to comedy. This journey began after meeting Prince at age 12. Katt said this meeting happened in Dayton, Ohio, where Prince was performing. Katt feels like he knew Prince his whole life and saw him as a mentor who boosted his confidence. He credits Prince for his swagger. In true Katt Williams style, he described Prince as a high thinker who was always ahead of the game. While everyone knows Prince was a musical genius, Katt shared how Prince taught him to embrace his uniqueness. According to Katt, Prince's message was, "You can be short, light-skinned with long hair, and as long as the ladies love you, who cares what others think?"
He was a high thinker and a guy that was always 30 steps ahead of whatever the curve was.
Some fans are connecting the dots between Katt saying Prince was always 30 steps ahead and the cryptic stuff Prince said before he left us. People are throwing around theories that maybe Katt was clued into something Prince knew, something sinister, like folks plotting to take Prince out. You know how Prince was known for dropping cryptic lines, and some believe he might have let Katt in on the scoop. There's a chilling theory that has haunted fans for years. Were Prince and Michael Jackson taken down because they knew too much? Prince's sudden death and Michael Jackson's mysterious circumstances left many with more questions than answers. Let's not forget that Michael spoke out against powerful figures in the industry, calling Sony's Tommy Mottola the devil. It seems like those who dare to challenge these hidden powers often meet a tragic end. Was this the price of trying to expose the Diddys, the Clive Davises, and the Russell Simmonses of their time? And now, with Diddy's empire crumbling, it's impossible not to wonder, was the fate of Prince and Michael a warning to anyone who dared to challenge the system? Katt Williams has been vocal about these secrets for years. He's mentioned time and time again that the industry's elites have used their power to manipulate young talent, luring them into freak-off parties where their futures are sealed through exploitation.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to look at nothing I don't want to have. Because I know how blessed I am. If I look at it, I got it. That's how Diddy be feeling.
Katt's warnings about Diddy were especially pointed. In an old interview, he exposed Diddy's involvement in these underground events, describing them as places where people were coerced into compromising situations for the sake of fame and fortune. He even mentioned how Prince had warned him to steer clear of certain individuals, like Diddy. However, Diddy wasn't always like this. Born on November 4th, 1969, in Harlem, New York City, he was raised in nearby Mount Vernon, a place that offered a mix of urban grit and suburban stability. His mother, Janice Combs, worked as both a model and teacher's assistant, instilling in Sean the values of hard work and perseverance. His father, Melvin Earl Combs, served in the U.S. Air Force but also had ties to the criminal underworld, including associations with drug dealer Frank Lucas. Melvin's life was tragically cut short when Sean was just 2, leaving him to be raised by his mother. As a child, Sean was heavily influenced by his Catholic upbringing, even serving as an altar boy. He attended Mount St. Michael Academy, where he shone as an athlete on the football team. His nickname Puff came from his habit of huffing and puffing when frustrated, a nod to his fiery temper. Though he enrolled at Howard University as a business major, Sean left after just 2 years to pursue a career in music. He quickly made a name for himself as an intern at Uptown Records, discovering major talents like Jodeci and Mary J. Blige under the guidance of Andre Harrell. Diddy also earned a reputation for hosting legendary parties, even influencing young Usher, who lived with him during his early years. In 1991, a tragic stampede at a charity event Diddy organized claimed 9 lives, marking a dark chapter in his rise and eventually leading to his departure from Uptown Records. We all know that Diddy ended up being one of the most successful record producers and label owners in the music industry. His company Bad Boy Records has housed big names like the notorious Big and Usher. But how did a 23-year-old up-and-coming artist make his way to the top of the industry in such little time? The secret may lie in his meeting with Clive Davis. Diddy met Clive when he was just a 23-year-old boy, hoping to make it in the very competitive and ruthless industry. But he managed to impress the legend Clive with his ideas for hip-hop. Clive talks about his first meeting with Diddy. He was looking for an artist who could really speak to the common people and found exactly what he was looking for in Diddy. Puffy was 23 years old and I knew the artist that I had, Aretha, Dionne, Whitney, was one kind of music, Davis said. LaFace ushered in blue-collared R&B at its height. But sensing the hip-hop revolution, both L.A. Reid and I agreed that we could use someone really attuned to the street. You gotta know what you can do for yourself, and you gotta know when you need to look to other people. At that time, Diddy worked under Andre Hall at Uptown Records, but things turned out quickly for him now that he had met Clive Davis. He managed to impress Clive with his words, as Clive recalls, "When I met with Puffy, he articulated that hip-hop should be part of the top 40 mainstream and that the business would change in the future. And I said, what have you got to illustrate that point? And he played me Craig Max Flava in your ear. And he played me the then unknown artist that he felt and believed so strongly. He played me 4 or 5 cuts from Notorious Big. This was enough to sell his vision to Clive, as he immediately told Diddy that had proved his point. I said, okay, you proved your point. That's when I introduced him to the weekly, what we called singles meetings. I introduced him to an executive there as someone who would help lead us to the street and share in the forthcoming hip-hop revolution. This seems like a very innocent interaction that shot Diddy immediately into stardom and fame, but the truth is quite different from what Clive has been portraying for years. Turns out, all this was just a cover for Clive to have relations with men, and Diddy wasn't the only one he did it to either.
There are a lot of stories, not rumors, stories going around about Clive Davis allegedly sleeping with men, that he was allegedly having rent boys, that a lot of the artists that didn't make it all the way to like a showcase.
Clive has been proven to get involved with up-and-coming artists after promising them a bright future in the music industry.
Actually signing a deal that he had activity with these people before either dropping them or never signing them in the first place, more so of using them for favors.
It seems like Diddy escaped the fate of being discarded after having a relationship with Clive, as Clive did help him in setting up his own record label Bad Boy Records and continued to fund it for years. Clive has been very forthcoming about his S-orientation, but Diddy has never spoken about it himself. You see, Clive Davis has made quite a name for himself with his music productions, but now he's being talked about more for his S endeavors. After having married and divorced twice, Clive decided he needed to go on a journey of self-discovery to find out if he could be attracted to men too.
I opened up myself after the failure of my second marriage, never having had anything with a man, to see, could I be attracted to the person and not the gender?
This soul-searching made him realize that he isn't as straight as he had imagined himself to be for 50 years of his life.
And I did find that I could be attracted to a man, while I still am very attracted to a woman.
After Clive had this realization, he decided he was at that point in his life where he wanted to be with a man.
Then, in 1990, he entered into a monogamous relationship with an unnamed male doctor. That relationship ended in 2004.
Clive says he has never been ashamed of being attracted to men. I never felt shame. No, I felt puzzled. The subject of bias orientation really needs much more discussion. It's a status that does exist. Anyway, with Diddy's case now coming to light, insiders are buzzing that he's preparing to snitch on some of the biggest names in the industry, not because he wants justice, but to save his own skin.
Sean will talk. That's why Jay-Z is running. That's why Jay-Z is nervous. Jaguar is talking about it. So many other artists at the moment. The industry is squirming because they know Sean is loose-lipped.
Katt Williams predicted this would happen, saying that when the chips were down, Diddy would turn on the very people who helped him rise to power. The question is, how far will Diddy go to protect himself? Will he expose the industry giants like Clive Davis and Russell Simmons to cut a deal? And how much of this did Prince and Michael know before they met their untimely deaths? Don't get it twisted. This isn't about one man. It's about an entire system that's been corrupt for decades, and Diddy, he's just the tip of the iceberg. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.